Well, bank, how may I help you?
I'd like to cash this check here, and then I'd like to take you out for a steak dinner. Little lady.
The jump seat is open.
It's been a while since I've done this. Which one's the jump seat again?
Dr. Connors to the ER. Dr. Connors to the ER.
This is irrefutable evidence that the defendant is lying.
Special Agent Hanratty, FBI.
Hello, Carl.
You're gonna get caught. It's like Vegas. The house always wins.
Some nuts flying around the country posing as a pilot, calling the James Bond of the sky.
Hello, Pusher. This is by far the best date I have ever been on.
He's a kid. That's why he doesn't have a record.
30 milligrams of codeine every 4 hours. Do you concur?
I concur.
Dr. Harris,
Yes?
do you concur?
Concur with what, sir? Ma'am, I'm sorry to have to tell you, your son is forging checks.
I have a payroll check here I'd like to cash.
I'm working part-time at the church now. Just tell me how much yours and I'll pay you back.
$1.3 million.
I'll be choosing 8 young ladies to be a part of Pan Am's future stewardess program.
South America, Australia, Singapore. These are so perfect, the bank doesn't even know the difference. What do you want?
To apologize.
You didn't call to apologize, did you? You have no one else to call. I'm looking for your son.
I would never give up my son. If you were a father, you'd know.
Stop chasing me.
I can't stop. It's my job.
You see these people staring at you? They keep peeking over their shoulders, wondering where you're going tonight. Where you going, Frank?
Don't tell me not to fly, I've simply got to. If someone takes a spill, it's me and not you. Don't bring around a cloud of terrain on my parade.
Sir, we're gonna let him get away.
No, Carl, you let him get away.
Nobody had a better rain on my Merry Christmas parade.
I'm getting close, huh? You will go to prison.
Hello, Dami. You're traveling again.
They can't tie me down.
Yeah.
Catching flights, not feelings, right? That's what.
You have to catch a feeling.
What's happening?
You have to catch a feeling.
I catch a feeling for flights. That's it.
Oh my goodness.
But it's all good.
Where are you at?
But, right now I'm in Croatia.
What are you doing there?
Living my best life, really.
Like what? What's your best life?
My best life is boats one day, beaches the next, party with wonderful DJs, relaxing with, fine restaurants, eating this and that. So living my best life and having to deal with the consequences tomorrow, I guess. So I'm sure my bank will have a few words with me when I get back.
And how was your birthday?
It was good. It was good.
You got drunk?
I don't drink. I'm well-behaved individual. Yes. How about you? How's your week going? What you been up to, Miss Glamorous Model, getting your stuff, out there? What you been up to?
Me, nothing. I was a good girl watching Catch Me If You Can. I was sleeping.
Is that all? Are you sure?
Yeah, I don't do shit. I'm like, my best life is to be in bed and watch Netflix.
Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but social media says the opposite. I don't see pictures of you on social media just sleeping. I see you living life, wearing fine clothes, or sometimes little clothes, just taking some nice photos here and there. So, I don't see you sleeping. I see you living. So, I think you're telling us one story, but we all
whenever I travel, then you'll find out. Like in my hometown, I'm like very low key, chilling, don't do anything. But when I travel, I just, keep everything to when I travel. Then when I go out, when I go to places, I'm not talking about party or something. I don't really enjoy partying that much. I like just to see new things, like during the day activities, animals, safari, like
Okay.
this type of things.
Well, I'm sure you bring the animal to party animal when you're on holiday, right? So
I don't think so. We will see.
we will see. But yeah, so should we crack on with it then?
Yes, everybody's waiting for us.
All right. So I guess this week we're reviewing Catch Me If You Can, which was directed by Steven Spielberg. Came out in 2002. Features Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hanks, Christopher Walken, and it talks about the real life con artist Frank Abagnale, who essentially went on and depicted himself to be different professions of being a Pan Am flight pilot, and then also a doctor at one time, and then a lawyer in another time. But
whatever he put his energy into, he became. I love that.
Exactly. So the fact that
and the energy and the vision, and he manifested, and it happened. I have to do it. I have to.
And he did all of this. He started all of this when he was 16 years old, which is the crazy part, right? So this guy.
That was a real story. This is the crazy.
Yes, it was a real story. So I think they even disclosed that at the end of the movie, saying that Frank and Carl remain friends up to this day, which I think at that point, for the rest of the real life agent's life, whose name was Joe, I believe.
Joseph Shea is the real name of Frank, actually. And I guess they are still friends till this day.
Till Joseph died. So Joseph died, I think, in like
he died?
2000. Yes.
Okay.
But it's all good. They remain friends up to the point of death, right? But yeah, essentially, at the end, you know, Frank defrauded the U.S. or defrauded up to $2.5 million during his lavish life, living his best life. But
be
then,
careful.
You know, yes, but he essentially got caught, then repaid back the money at some point, right? Because at the end, he did become a security specialist and started holding seminars and teaching people about, you know, how to create tighter securities and things like that. And then I think I did read somewhere that he eventually got married, had children, and one of his sons actually grew up to be an FBI agent. So I think he says that was one of his proudest moments, is that, you know, it's a wild how the circle of life on how things kind of turn out to be. But yeah.
So did you know, like, the facts, like in the movies, like comparing like to the, I mean, like the whatever happens to the movie and like to the reality?
Tell us and educate us. So let us know.
First of all, like, of course he worked for the FBI, but when he tried to escape in the airplane, he didn't escape through airplane toilet.
Is that right?
So he escaped through the kitchen.
The kitchenette?
Yeah. And then he was in the Montreal airport.
Oh, Canada, whoop, whoop.
Yeah. Cool. And then, Canada.
Yeah, okay. Yes.
Escaped through the kitchen galley, and then he was at the Montreal airport, and he didn't go to see his his
mother
and stuff. Yeah, that didn't happen. And then he was reapprehended at the airport of Montreal. Meanwhile, he was trying to purchase a ticket to go to Brazil.
Ooh. Well,
Yeah.
I guess he didn't love Canada that much.
Yes,
That's all right.
because it was too cold. And in the movie, it's being said that Carl was the only FBI agent who was trying to catch him, but that wasn't true. There were like more than one FBI agent who was trying to catch him, but like not Carl, what was the name of the huh?
Was it John, the real life FBI agent?
Yeah, the FBI, yeah. That he was like the main force, but he wasn't the only one. And there were more people into it.
So I think in the movie it was played by Tom Hanks, and his character was Carl Hanratty, Hargatti, or Hargatti, yes.
Yeah, his name was a little bit different.
Hanratty, there's it, Hanratty, that's it.
I just say Tom Hanks. And he wasn't the only child.
He had two brothers and a
sister.
Yes, I just remember that.
And he wasn't the most wanted criminal in the world.
Why?
So he never made a list.
He never made the list because I believe it's because he was performing white collar crimes, and those kind of lists are more for the violent criminals, right? At that time. So like
because he was white?
No, because he was making financial crimes, which are considered white collar crimes. Right. So but the FBI list has now changed a little bit more now to include people that are, that defraud people for more than millions and billions of dollars now. But back then, the reason why he wasn't added to that list is only because at the time it was only reserved for violent criminals. But good fact. Yeah. Anything else? What else? I'm very curious about this list.
In the movie, he got engaged, almost getting married. That in the reality, that was wrong. Yes, he was seeing this flight attendant, but she said that they've never been engaged because she was too young to even think about marriage.
Okay.
And conning the escort. Like
what? You repeat this?
Yeah, because like the escort in at the hotel, that he also conned her to give her like a
played by Jennifer Gardner.
That was actually true.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually I remember doing the math. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's so funny, like it had that movie, that movie had a few guest appearances by famous actors and actresses. So it had Amy Smart, who played the nurse that he got engaged to, and it had Jennifer Garner. So I remember when watching it, oh, I know that person. Oh, I've seen that person. And they do little bits like that throughout the movie. But there was another guest appearance by someone else at the end, at the arrest scene. Do you know who that was?
No.
It was the real life Frank Abagnale. So when he got detained in France, one of the officers that put him in the police car was actually Frank Abagnale. I think I don't know, Steven Spielberg has this thing where he likes to include guest appearance of what real life people are. So, but yeah, so that's another one. All right. So what about? So these are the Hollywood depictions or the glamorization that they added to the movie. So what are the truthful things? What else is truthful? Give me like your top 2 truthful things.
I already told you.
Oh, okay. So I think for me too, it's for me, when I discovered that Frank Abagnale is actually based on a real life person, this actually reminded me of another movie. One of my favorite movies actually is American Gangster, which had Russell Crowe, Denzel Washington.
Yes, I've watched.
Idris Elba.
I'm not sure.
Yes, so
I'm not sure.
Yeah, so it's fun. To me, it's kind of funny how and it's about, for that American Gangster movie is called was about Frank Lucas, who was a cocaine essentially dealer and supplier out in the 80s in New York City. And so at the end of the movie, he also got arrested, detained, but at the end of the day, he ended up getting shorter time in jail because he started helping out the FBI and things like that. And they made friends, and the criminal and the person that pursued that criminal eventually became closer or developed a relationship. So I thought that was quite interesting to me, that this sometimes is an outcome of what actually happens in real life. But I think also what I also enjoyed about the movie was the fact that despite, you know, one of the facts that you didn't disclose but was brought up was when Frank did leave his home at 16, he actually never saw his dad again. But because of Christopher Walken, his star power, they've tried to make something there, right, for his role and his character to be more influenced into the story. But I did enjoy like how the father was never try to give up on the son and say, you know,
he was very protective.
Yeah, exactly, right. And then I remember one thing that made me laugh was, do you remember that saying that kept saying that the two mice were stuck in a bowl of milk, and the second mouse, he got out because he churned it into butter. So how they reused that as a prayer at the Lutheran table. So it made me think a little bit like, do Lutherans pray by parables and sayings like that? Like, it made me question, but it kind of also shows like his father had an influence onto him, and he can also rely on his father for wisdom and things like that. So which I thought was kind of admirable. But yeah.
So what was your favorite scene?
My favorite scene, I think my favorite scenes are probably just how every single year around Christmas, Carl and Frank had a phone call. So it just, and I think even that very first phone call where he called Frank, Leonardo DiCaprio's character, called Tom Hanks, and he gave him the address of his hotel. He says, I'm at 1313 something something. And he's like, oh, I bet you're not even there, you're miles away. And when we essentially pull out from that scene, we realize that, you know what, Frank was actually telling the truth, and he was ready to give up at that point, kind of thing. But it didn't turn out to be the situation at times. But however, it started, that to me is when the friendship and the consistency into each other's life was there. I thought that was kind of cool. And then another favorite scene for me would probably be, to be quite honest, I think another favorite thing is like when he just used pure confidence and charm to just to skate through his real life situation. So he's done something where I feel like maybe I also do the same thing too, which is he watched a lot of movies and used a lot of movies as his foundation for knowledge for, you know, what's going to happen. So at that time he pretended to be a lawyer.
You're gonna escape through the toilet?
No, that was that to me is like not a big deal. But the fact that
it's easy.
Anyone can do that. Even if I can do that right now, that's not impressive. It's the fact that he was able to pretend to be a doctor, and all he said was, "Do you concur? Do you concur?" And it's like, and then the guy said, "I concur." And he said, "Well done, good job," and then walked away. And that was all it took. And then the other thing was when he was a lawyer and he did the whole dramatic statements to the judge, and it was absolutely wrong, but still it still flows.
Confidence.
It is confidence.
Confidence makes people believe you.
Yes. So how about you? What about your favorite scene? or scenes?
I love it when the FBI hired him and they were like looking at him. Wow, when he when he was at the prison and they came with a check that he can check it out, and then he was just looking, and then he said, "Do you want to work for us?" I think that like his face was like, "But I have a job here, still the maid or something." And then he was like a little bit, "Are they serious? What are you talking about?" You know, for me that was my favorite scene. And then he was,
Yeah, and
"But I have a job here. Huh? I'm good. I'm good at the prison. I have a job." And also, when he was still trying to escape after like, you know, he was basically working at the FBI, everything good, and how he was still trying to escape for the, like, I mean, he tried to escape, but then he acted like it was like for the weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
But I like that part.
Yeah, that's good. So trust was built up between Frank and Carl at the end of the movie. But you know, Frank eventually learned that there's no point, and there's better meanings to his life than going off and being gallivanting and things like that. But yeah, nice. So how would you rate this movie out of 10?
I would say 7.
A 7, okay. For me,
It was nice.
To me, this is like, you got to watch this movie at least once in your lifetime. And I remember the first time I watched it, and it kind of blew me. Yeah, I've watched it now twice. The second time being for this review, and to be quite honest, it didn't have that same first time appeal as the one I did watch it the first time, but I would definitely rate it north of a 6. So I'm gonna even give it like a 7, right? So it's like it's a passable score, but it doesn't mean that I'm gonna be driving myself to rewatch it every year or anything like that. But it's definitely something I would probably introduce to my kids, kind of thing. Say, hey, you know what? This is a nice movie. Watch this.
You're talking about your kids a lot. Is there something going on? You keep saying I'm gonna do this for the kids.
Oh yeah, you got to think about the next generation, because you know the movies they make today it's not the same, like the way they make. Is
someone pregnant?
No, well,
with your kids.
Let me see your baby belly right now. Is that
definitely is not me?
Okay. That's all good. So I guess on an average Rotten Tomato, you said what score again? Sorry.
I said 7. So you also said 7.
So 7 out of 10.
We give
salty,
7, guys.
So a salty popcorn rating of 7. So IMDb gave it an 8.1 out of 10, and Rotten Tomatoes a 96%. So yeah, everyone that kind of watched a movie generally improves. So it was a good movie. So all in all, give it a watch, guys, and definitely like, subscribe, and share this video so you can catch us when you can. So that way it pops up on your screen.
Next time is my turn. I still don't know which movie, but I'll let you guys know. I mean,
okay, she'll let us know it'll be in the title of the movie when we review it. But,
probably it's gonna be another psychology.
Oh my gosh,
drama,
the amount of little sleep I'm gonna have after that, I should probably just preload my sleep now.
Okay, so enjoy your trip. I know it's late there. What time is it? It's almost 11 p.m. guys. So
yes,
see you next week.
Sounds good. See you.
Bye.